is the Bitcoin Otter Radio Show.
Oh my God, I love you so much.
On 97.7 FM, The City.
Hey everybody, greetings, blessings, and good fortune. We are back, thank God, for another Thursday, approximately 6 o'clock Central Time. Like to talk to you again if you want to stick around. I'm just going to get my account here on Facebook, see if we've already gone out. We're hopefully going out on Facebook and YouTube right now, so we'll see. Also, as you can tell, I'm not in the KCYP 97.7 The City studios today. I'm in, I guess you could call it the Otter's Lair, okay? That's where I'm at, right? So, we're going to have, maybe not some stuff on the what do you call it? The radio, okay? But what we will have, and I am here. Waylon! Good to see you, Waylon. We got Waylon in the house. So I'm going to rest my phone here on a hockey puck. You don't believe me? Remember these guys? Huh? The Killer Bees? I do. Anyway, I got the phone right there. You guys want to join in? You want to talk about something specific? A lot of stuff going on, ladies and gents. A lot of stuff. I've got a lot of stuff that I'd like to bring up. But at the same time, if you have something you want to talk about, you want to clear up, you want to figure out, let me help. I don't know it all. However, I can help. How can I help? As my friends know, my family too, I've been digging into this stuff for a long, long time. So, I do have, at the very least, resources to which I can rely upon. So, with that, we will go into our numbers. Okay? And these are the numbers for the day. And you know which ones I'm talking about, right? The important ones. Gold, silver, Bitcoin, and mortgage rates. Mortgage rates are ugly. Mortgage rates are evil. Mortgages themselves are not good for you or me. However, it's part of the Federal Reserve System, which is also evil. But the good news is, I think it's going to end. I really do. I am optimistic, I know. But I think there are certain signals out there that are pointing to the fact that the good guys are beating the bad guys, and they do have their sights set on the Federal Reserve. We can only hope. You want to know more about it? Here we go. BitcoinOtter.media@gmail.com. Right there. Okay? How about some more? You want to know some more? Give me a call. All right? That's the Otter number right there, 737-256-9339. In case you're listening, I know a lot of us can't see things live. We don't have that ability or the time, right? So my number, and it helps if you text first, because that way I can get right back to you and know exactly what it is you want to talk about. 737-256-9339. Send me a text. Give me a call. Hopefully I'll be near the phone. If not, send me a text, please. 737-256-9339. Or again, our email address, bitcoinotter.media@gmail.com. And just so you know, I'll pop up the website. Oh, and as you're looking at the website at bitcoinotter.com, you can see that I'm drinking from an Ark Encounter mug. What is that, Otter? Well, since you ask, the Ark Encounter is a creation museum in Kentucky, here in these blessed United States. So they have dinosaurs. They do have dinosaurs, big bones and all that. But it's a little bit different from what you might think at perhaps places like the Smithsonian. And I will edit my critique of the Smithsonian because I despise it. Anyway, the Creation Museum, okay, which is, run by Answers in Genesis Ministries, is a huge facility, and they have a life-sized Noah's Ark. Yes, I've been on it. Life-size. So, life-size meaning they took the parameters and the plans and everything given to Noah by God, and they built it. cubits and all that, formatted to whatever the measurements are today, and they built it. It's huge. It's huge. It's a sight to see. Kids will love it. Great stuff. Check it out if you so choose. Now, some of the things that have been going on, let me rephrase that. Most of the things that have been going on lately are a little hinky, right? I think so. So what I wanted to do today was speak about some of them and how they might affect our perspective on the news. But again, first, I promised you those prices, and here they are. Gold. Gold today, as of about an hour ago, was $1,918 for an ounce. Okay? Spot price. Silver, $22.82, which is down, from like 24 something last week. And your average mortgage rates. Again, what is a mortgage? It is the engagement with death. Yes. If you follow its etymology, the word means engagement with death, among other things. But that's my favorite because, well, it's very descriptive. So, your mortgage with death at a 30-year rate will be approximately 7.03% paid to those people. At a 15-year rate, the national average is 6.45% paid to those people. Okay? Yeah. Now that I said people instead of what I really want to say. Is liquid creamer supposed to congeal up in your cup like that? I don't know. Well, if I have to run to the restroom real quick, you'll know what it's all about, all right, Wayne? Anyway, so these are some of the things I want to talk about today. Some of the topics, okay? And they go back, remember, this is a weekly show, so I will cover stuff that went, into last week's news cycle. But you know what? Here's the problem. Sometimes when we, how would you say? Sometimes when we report things, or I tell you things, or you tell me things even, we realize after the fact that the story was even more twisted. The story was even perhaps zanier, crazier, more illogical than what we thought. And that, ladies and gentlemen, pertains to the story I mentioned last week, which everybody saw in the news. And you don't so much see it anymore. That little submarine, that one, went down to look at the remains of the Titanic. Now you know me by now. Yes, I do have a conspiracy theory about the Titanic and about that little sub. But I digress. When I reported last week, Thursday, that, unfortunately it had imploded. And that is still the news, unfortunately, that it did indeed implode under, I don't know what depth or whatever, but it did apparently implode. And unfortunately, lives were lost. Those on board were all lost. You can't imagine to escape from that, barring divine intervention, right? So they perished, unfortunately. However, the detail that many of you probably already know, since it's already 6 or 7 days late, the Navy knew that the little sub, imploded on Sunday, and they reported it, I'm sure, to the White House. They did nothing. Nothing. They did nothing. Nothing. Why? Well, go over your news feed from last week. There were some things that they really didn't want us to know about. That Hunter guy, he was central to that, right? Yeah. There were other things too. But suffice it to say that they knew on Sunday and didn't report till Thursday what really occurred when they knew it. So, if you had any remaining trust in the mainstream media, please jettison that immediately, if not sooner. Because they are liars, and they lie about their lies. And then they lie to you, and they lie to themselves, and then they lie because they're liars. Yes, do not believe them. So, that brings us to this news piece today, which is from the World Tribune. Window on the real world, they say. Now, From the timeline of the submersible disaster, it was clearly a distraction. Many observers are saying, okay? After 8 years of Get Trump, the mass vaccine operation, many are not surprised that Team Biden waited nearly a week before releasing the news. And some are saying, oh, this goes to the conspiracy piece, ladies and gents. Some are now claiming, and this is not new by any means, ladies and gents. Again, bitcoinouter.media@gmail.com. I'll tell you all about it, send you the links, all that good stuff. Some are now claiming that the Titanic was sunk in 1912 in a plot to kill those who objected to the establishment of a Federal Reserve by financial dynasties. Yes, ladies and gents, I believe that to be true. And it gets deeper. Pun intended. It gets deeper. Why? Because it's not really the Titanic lying there on the ocean floor for people to see. Maybe not anymore. Anyway, so it's called the Olympia. Okay, so the Olympia is the sister ship to the Titanic. Look it up or hit me up on the email. I'll send it to you. Anyway, they swapped them out. Yeah, I know it's hard to believe. You've heard for so long, and the echo chamber has repeated for, so often that it was the Titanic, and we had a movie even. It was almost bittersweet, but it was just a movie, ladies and gents. Let's not get attached, and if you're a female, you probably did get very attached. And if you're a male, you probably saw it way too many times because your significant other made you watch it. So, that being said, Al's on. How you doing, Al? I was just telling him about the Titanic. You know all about that because you and I drink coffee together. So, you know about that. You want to hear about something? You want to talk about something? Al, just hit me up. Let me know. So, what do we got next? Here's something that's interesting right here. And this harkens back to a time when the government was lying about, as they always do, they were lying about the Steele dossier, the evidence that was brought forward to the FISA court, right? Federal Foreign Intelligence. It's basically FISA will be this. FISA is a courtroom in which you cannot see the evidence against you. Okay? You may not even have representation. And this is my opinion, you are not covered by the Constitution. That's the FISA court. Now, they believe this whole FISA court, and I think it came about with the NDAA, National Defense Authorization Act, which was a result of those dirty, rotten, you-know-what, that took down 3 buildings on 9/11. 3 buildings. Did you say 3, Otter? Yes, 3. Look up Building 7. Anyway, so after they took down those 3 buildings and created terror, it wasn't the people that you thought they were. It certainly wasn't anyone in Iraq. Certainly not anyone there in the Middle East. They may have used them as bit players, distraction, but it was, yes ma'am, yes sir, the usual suspects, an inside job. They created this, why? So that they could enact the NDAA, National Defense Authorization Act, so that they could have things like, centralized federal power. So, they had, I think it was 51 intelligence community members, respected community members of the intelligence community, sign an affidavit to the veracity of the Steele dossier. What was the Steele dossier in actuality? It was a Clinton Foundation purchase from an ex-spy to frame and spy on a presidential candidate, Donald Trump, and even after he became the president of these beloved United States, they spied on him and conspired against him. What's a conspiracy? 2 or more people getting together and saying, hey, we're going to do this, and we know it's against the law. That's all a conspiracy is. So yes, it is a conspiracy. Now, 51 of those clowns, yes, clowns, 51 of them signed the affidavit knowing that it was false. And they said it was true. It was false, so they lied. I don't know if there was an oath involved. I doubt it. But it doesn't matter to them. They have no conscience. Now, that brings up this. Check this out. and it's not popping up. But 250, yes, ladies and gentlemen, 250 celebrities, for what it's worth and whatever they're worth, want social media to censor anyone who criticizes LGBTQ, ABCD, EFG, FQ. So, they want censorship against anyone who doesn't agree with the agenda, the narrative, the status quo, the things they want to ram down your throat and mine. And if you don't like it, well, you get kicked off or your message gets deleted. Why? Because they're in on it. Yeah. If you see a celebrity screaming loudly, literally or perhaps on Twitter, Maria, good to see you, then you know that said celebrity is probably part of the criminal activity. What criminal activity, Otter? Ask yourself this question. Not this question. This question is, why do children need to see mostly naked men dressed as women at story hour? Don't ask that. Ask yourself, why do mostly naked men dressed as women need children to hear their stories? That's the question you need to ask, because they are the ones who are captured in this evil net. They are the ones who are unable to control their lust. And that lust is not limited to adults. I know, it's not pretty, but in my opinion, this is me, who am I? I believe that those 250 celebrities, if not directly involved in that nastiness, that evil, that God says, God of the Bible, says that if you harm his children, it would be better for you to have a millstone around your neck and to be cast into the sea. It would be better for you if you hurt his children. These people hurt his children again and again. They do it often. They record it on video, and then they send it to other people who want to hurt other children. That's what they do. So, this is Hollywood. This is Washington, D.C. It's underbelly, but they want to make it mainstream. Take my word for it. If you want to go into it further, please call me, email me, whatever. I will give you what I have on it, and you make your own decision. So, 250 celebrities. Now, I wanted to, and I looked quickly because it came out today. It didn't come out today, but I saw it today. But I don't know the list. I'll get back to you if I find out the list of these 250. Now, I have heard that, and do believe that if you are in Hollywood, you at the very least know what's going on. You may not actively partake, or you may, in said evil, but you know what's going on. You can't be there and not know what's going on. You got to mix, you got to network, and that means parties. And Hollywood parties are probably some of the most depraved things in this world. But I digress. So there's that. What else do we have? Oh, here's something we got here. So again, this one isn't working. Let's see which one is working. Okay. I think what happened was during my pre-show, I moved my articles. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it back up. But suffice it to say that the people, okay, who are indeed looking to do mean things, bad things, evil things to people, to children, are in Hollywood. They're in Washington, D.C. They're probably in our community, but they may not always speak to what it is they really want to do. And what happens in that case is they hide behind things. And in this case, they want to hide behind censorship. And they're willing to censor you and me and our opinions. Okay? So here it is. 250 Hollywood celebrities sign letter demanding big tech censor anyone who opposes trans surgeries on kids. So, what are trans surgeries? Well, they have cute little euphemisms for that. If a girl is sufficiently convinced that she needs to be a boy, they lop off her breasts. Yes, they go in, they carve out, they mutilate, and then they sew up. I know this because they think it's cute and they put it on social media. I don't think it's cute. Now, if they go all the way, they have what's called bottom surgery. In bottom surgery, they rip off, tear off the flesh, the skin of your forearm, of their forearm, right? And they create a useless piece of meat that needs to be medically tended to for the rest of that person's life. I say useless because it certainly doesn't work the way the organ on a male human being created by God works. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I am censoring this to a certain extent because kids watch this show. I have the word of some of my friends that their kids watch the show, and I appreciate that. So I'm being sensitive to that aspect of the broadcast. Otherwise, I would be playing out and laying it all on the table. Now, this mutilation of girls and boys cannot be argued in the mind of 250 celebrities at the very least. These 250 celebrities would like to mutilate, maim, cripple, hurt children to their pleasure. And you and I have nothing to say about it. Now, if you're a woman and you want to be a man, go for it. If you're a man, you want to be a woman, I'm not standing in your way. However, if you're a child, you've got a lot of growing up to do. A lot of things will happen to you in life, and your mind will change. I can guarantee you that because I've been a child. Some say I still act that way, but hey, who are they? Anyway, the problem with these celebrities is they're run by other people. They're called handlers, but I digress. So, let me give you an example of, unfortunately, a celebrity in the sense that we know who this person is, but also someone that has been put into the clown show in a position of authority. Yes, Admiral Rachel Levine. Now, if you might be thinking, hey, Otter, Rachel looks more like Rocky. I would agree. I would tend to agree. It would, on the face of it, seem to be a Rocky more so than a Rachel. But I don't make those decisions. What I'm trying to say is that I have an opinion on it, and I don't want people to censor it. That's all. That's all I'm saying. Now, here's an interesting tidbit, and this is pretty funny. I think you guys can all be amused at this. Biden picks up after journalist calls secret burner phone revealed in Hunter scandal. So, apparently, in the Hunter Biden, criminal scandal, of which he is guilty 1,000%, and guilty of 1,000 things more than what we think he is, there was a phone, I guess, replete with the number connected. I think it's, look this up if you would like, MarcoPoloUSA.com or something like that, okay? My buddy Mike Pack has good details. He's the Hollywood reporter on Twitter. Hit him up. He'll give you the whole website and everything, or hit me up in email and I'll find it and send it to you. But this Marco Polo gives you the entire Hunter Biden with details, photos, nasty photos. And apparently there was an emergency phone where you can reach the Bidens if you had anything you wanted to buy them with. So if you wanted to, get the big guy, okay, in the game for your country, your corporation, or whatever, you could call him up, and Hunter would probably answer, and you could probably hire them for some sort of skullduggery, some sort of crime, because that's what they are. They are a crime family, just like the Bushes, just like the Clintons, just like Mr. and Mr. Obama. They are crime families, ladies and gentlemen. It doesn't matter if they're Republican. It doesn't matter if they're Democrats. They're criminals. Thank you. So this reporter, intrepid perhaps, John Solomon by name, he saw the number, found out, what it was, And he decided to call it. And guess who answered? It was the big guy. The big guy. Joe Biden answered. That's who answered. And it was funny, and everybody had a laugh, but he hung up after he found out who it was. So you can't make this stuff up, people. You can't make this stuff up. That was from Zero Hedge. It's just, if you want to check the veracity of it, be my guest. But the way things are in this world, I don't doubt it one bit. These people are brazen because these people are protected. Yes, I said these people. People have weaponized that, haven't they? Certain groups have weaponized that. Oh, what do you mean by these people? I mean these people. These criminals. That's what I mean. Okay? The Biden crime family. That's what I'm talking about. All right? So, secret phone. Here's something that's interesting. And I want to tell you, as not a Republican, certainly not a Democrat, but an independent, beware of the hidden agendas that many of these politicians have. RFK Jr. speaks very well, speaks to the heart of many matters. In fact, he's fearless when he speaks about what were falsely claimed to be vaccines for the COVID fiasco. So we now know them to be bioweapons, and this is unfortunately a fact, and it's been proven scientifically, peer-reviewed, etc., 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 etc. So these things are not nice to people, and he is reporting that. He is exposing that. And you know what? He's exposing some other things. So here is Robert F. Kennedy on Twitter. New documents show that the CIA's MK Ultra program targeted indigenous and black children in medical torture experiments. Horrific. Yes, this is true. It got some publicity. It has morphed. In my research, what I've been looking at for years now, it's now called Monarch Mind Programming. A great, if you would like to, I should have had it on the screen, maybe next time. A great link to something that will inform you greatly on this is vigilancecitizen.com. Vigilancecitizen.com. And what the people at Vigilant Citizen will show you is that it is pretty evil. The music business, Hollywood, DC, they're all in on this nastiness. But how is this so well run? MK Ultra, ladies and gentlemen. MK Ultra was I think a 50s or a 60s or maybe even now CIA program, right? It was an experiment, so to speak, where they would give LSD-laced Kool-Aid to children. Not tell them what was going to happen. Strap them down, apply electroshock, and just watch the show. Because that's who they were. Maybe that's who they are. And I think it was 73, in the 70s somewhere, one of their brilliant directors said, you know what, we're going to just throw all those documents into the crapper. Well, somebody didn't put them all in the crapper. And many people found those documents in many different places. So we now know that it is established that our own government was doing this to children, to people, and yes, Mr. Kennedy, to indigenous and black children, because do whatever you want to white people, but don't mess with the minorities. And that's what he's talking about. That people, indigenous and black children, were mutilated. They did nasty things. Suffice it to say that they have to hurt a person, and it has to be, well, maybe not has to, but it's best when it's a child. It's disgusting, it's vile, but it's true, unfortunately. If you want to know more about it, bitcoinhunter.media@gmail.com. So here's an interesting one, ladies and gents. And again, pop up if you want to talk about something that you got near and dear. This one here is very interesting. I heard this morning, and I figured I'd check it out and show it to you. So this was Steve Guest on Twitter But he references a study that was done by Reuters, if you believe them. I don't know, they're pretty mainstream to me. But anyway, this has got to be checked, I would imagine, a bunch of times, so it's probably true. Reuters. President Joe Biden and every living former president, except Donald Trump, are direct descendants of slaveholders. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. When I mentioned that tactic used by criminals called projection, little refresher, projection is when a criminal puts his crime, motive, or perspective onto someone else. They project that to them so that the attention will be spread from that person, the criminal, the actual doer of the crime, the committer, the perpetrator, the perp, projects to another person their motives, their crimes, their initiatives, all that. So when these people call other people racists and, from a long line of racists, well, there's only one that really, wasn't, and that was Donald Trump. You wouldn't know that. You wouldn't know that when they project. But that's the case, according to Reuters, right? More than 100 U.S. political elites. Remember, I despise that. They need to be called the parasite class because that's what they are. They're worse than a wart on. They should be called the parasite class. Yes. So, more than 100 U.S. political parasites have family links to slavery. Reuters explores what the ancestral connections to slavery mean to presidents, governors, members of Congress, and Supreme Court justices. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we know that slavery in this country still goes on. We know it. If you know anything, you know that there are slaves in this country. Doesn't matter what color your skin is. Doesn't matter what you believe. Doesn't matter how old you are. There are slaves in this country and internationally. They did not go away after the Civil War. The Civil War was not the panacea that it has been taught to us in the history books that eradicated slavery. No, not only no, but hell no. Okay? And yes, I don't care what anybody says. Say it if you will. Use that canard called indentured servitude. But yes, Irishmen and women were slaves too. Yes, they were. Most definitely. And in fact, they were considered below the value of a black slave. Couldn't do as much work. Smaller. Ate a lot of potatoes, I hear. But anyway, Irish also. It doesn't matter, ladies and gents. Humans are humans. And it goes back to that old thing where they say, the white man came in and he conquered. And absolutely. Absolutely. People, pale faces, they did a lot of damage to indigenous people here in the U.S. They sure did. There were evil things done. Undeniable. Heinous, horrific things were done by people of pale skin. Yeah. That lacked melanin. Yes. Absolutely. Undisputable. Indisputable. Without an argument. However, every single people group. Notice I don't use race. I don't use the term race because there's only one race. But every single person, every people group, okay, scaling from your Asiatic-looking people to your northern hemisphere, southern hemisphere, east, west, low melanin, high melanin, whatever. We're all humans, okay? So to say that only one color has conquered, poisoned, destroyed, stolen, it's a little disingenuous, you think? It's a little deceiving, isn't it? I mean, nobody killed anybody before the white man came and killed? Nobody stole anything? You think nobody stole anything? Nobody took a slave? Now, if you read writings that, historically are historically compiled about the indigenous peoples, we call them Indians, right? American Indians. They did all those things. Yeah, they did. Why? They're human. They're human. We are far from where we need to be in the eyes of God. That's why he sent his son. Simple as that. Segue, but just suffice it to say that from this, Donald Trump is the only guy that didn't come from slave owners. Now, if you want to go to vice presidents, that Kamala, ooh boy, oh man, look her family up. Oofa! What did they do? You can find out, or you can email me and I'll send you some stuff. Oh, this is a good one, everybody. This is a good one. Licenciado Rolofo is in the house. Licenciado. Muy bien, gracias. And Ruben Garcia. Good to see you. Everybody, I'm glad you're here. We're talking about a lot of different things. Bienvenido a todos. So, this next thing is gonna make you chuckle. And I'll tell you the ugly backstory. But here it is. California Rep. Maxine Waters, yes, Mad Maxine, introduces bills to spend hundreds of billions of dollars to fight homelessness. Lie. And solve the affordable housing crisis. Lie. Rep. Maxine Waters, a California Democrat, introduced a trio of bills addressing the housing crisis. Lie. They would expand housing vouchers and send $100 billion to help. Lie. First-generation home buyers. The bills, which offer a slew of other policy solutions, lie, are focused on reducing the racial wealth gap. Lie, lie, lie. Rep. Maxine Waters, a California Democrat, we know. And we already said that because it was the headline. Now, why am I yelling? Why, Otter, why are you getting all worked up here? Why am I getting worked up? I'm going to, as I like to do, I'm going to translate this, okay? I'm not saying that you're not mentally capable, especialmente licenciado. Licenciado Rodolfo. I'm not saying you can't handle this. I'm not saying you can't figure this out. What I am saying is this. These are lies stacked upon lies, based on lies, so that you'll believe lies. What do I mean? Okay, first of all, California Rep. She does not represent California. She doesn't represent anyone but herself, her bank account, and the people that pay her to do things. That's who she represents. She's not alone. It's not just Democrats, and it's not just people in California. But I'm being truthful here. That is who she represents. So yes, she's a representative, but certainly not of California. Certainly not the hardworking people of California that get robbed every day. Okay, she introduces bill to spend hundreds of billions of dollars. Of course. To fight homelessness? No. And solve affordable housing? No. She doesn't care about affordable housing. She doesn't care about homelessness. None of that stuff, stirs her motivations at all. Money does. Now, when she introduces these bills, here's what I want to tell you it's all about. They need more money in the slush fund. How does that work, Otter? Well, I'm talking to one of our listeners here. Hang on one second. I'm begging for about 30 minutes. So, back to Mad Maxine. And please, if you do have something, I'm listening. I got you right here. But most of you have my regular number anyway. Anyway, what are they doing? And I won't claim to be the original person to notice this, okay? I've told you about the Economic Ninja before. The Economic Ninja is on. The guy is on, okay? I watch him on Rumble. You can watch him on YouTube or whatever, but Rumble is much better than YouTube. Why? Because they don't censor. Anyway, this is what they're doing, ladies and gents. They are doing the same thing now that they did in 2007, 2008. Okay, some of you, I believe, licenciado, is in real estate. Okay, and you can attest to this if you've been watching cycles. So in the 2006-7 run up to 2008 collapse, debacle, whatever you want to call it, what did they do? This affordable housing thing came up, okay? They made it so that anyone, regardless of credit, could buy a house. Regardless of how much they had to put down, could buy a house. What could go wrong? Why did they do that? Is it because they cared about people of color? No. Is it because they cared about the homeless? No. Is it because there's a housing crisis? Yeah, there is. But not because they cared about all that, but because they were doing what they always do, robbing and stealing. How, Otter? What are you talking about? They are promising these already economically challenged people a home. Who doesn't want a home? We all want a home. Problem is, these people don't have sufficient, if any perhaps, employment to pay for said home. I think an average home in the United States now is like $500,000. So let's say they get something, lesser than that, below the average at $200,000. It's still a ton of money. So they're guaranteed a mortgage, but they can't really pay it back. Who does this benefit, ladies and gentlemen? The usual suspects. The banks. They can come with their figureheads, this Mad Maxine. They can come and say they're doing something very good for people of color, right? For the affordable housing crisis and homelessness. But in reality, they're setting up their harvest of homes. They're going to repo these homes. They're going to foreclose on these homes. And it's going to be the banks that own them. That's the first aspect of it. They're going to steal them. Well, I guess they own them, right? The bank owns it anyway. But they're going to take it back from those poor people that they say they're helping. They're not helping them. Maybe they'll get in the house for a month or 2 or 3. But then when they can't pay, the bank will take it back. That's what it's designed for. Here's the other aspect of it. Number 2. It is another way for the Federal Reserve to create more money. To throw more money into their slush fund. How do I mean? When a bank loans money, according to the corrupt rules of banking in this United States, in this country, they only need 10% of what it is they're lending. It's called fractional reserve lending. Now, of course, in 2007, 2008, we saw that it went off the rails and some banks had even less than that. Okay? They had even less than that. So, what's going on is they are creating more money because when a bank loans money, what happens? They hit the keyboard, it pops up into their bank account, then it goes to the borrower's bank account. It didn't go to the Treasury where money should be minted. It didn't go to the proper constitutional place, which is the Treasury. It is the responsibility of the Treasury of the United States constitutionally to mint, to print currency. The Federal Reserve bypasses all that. That is what this is about too. It's about many things, right? They have many different ways to cheat us. But the end result is it makes your dollar and my dollar worthless. Worthless. That's, how they come up with it. So however many people they help, ostensibly help, because they're not helping anybody. They'll probably get out of their apartment where they may or may not have a lease, and then once the bank takes their house, where are they going to be then? Now there's more homeless, right? But they won't report that. You'll never see that. But the bank will have more property, and more money will be pumped into the monetary system as a whole. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a scam. It is a scam. By all means, there's nothing other than a scam to say about it. So yeah, I'm a little worked up, but that's the way things work. And if you have a different opinion, let me know here, let me know in the email, however you want to let me know. But I'm telling you, this is my opinion on it. Okay? Here's something interesting. We got a little bit left in today's show. Not a lot. I don't want to keep you. I don't want to use a lot of your time. These things I pick because I don't think they're useless. There's a lot of useless stuff out there. These I don't believe are useless. All in the spirit of preparation. Ladies and gentlemen, as I've said before, and anyone who speaks to me, and thank God I know a lot of you, many of you, 90% of the Facebook friends are people I know personally, or more. So, what I'm getting at is, I'm asked all the time about 401k plans. I'm asked about all kinds of different things. I am not a financial advisor, okay? But I am an opinionated person, and those opinions are based on knowledge, okay? They are based on facts. I'm not making this stuff up. So, in my opinion, if you want to safeguard you and your family from what I believe to be coming financial crisis, and everybody said that for years, it's going to happen, isn't that? No, I know that. But the signs are here, the signals are here, they're manifest, and we can see them. You want to know more about it? Again, bitcoinouter.media@gmail.com. Now, what I'm getting at is, how do you prepare your family? How do you get out of the way of the freight train? Okay? How do you get out of the way of this crisis? Because it's real. It's coming. Even worse than it is now when you go into the grocery store or pull up to the gas pump. So, if you have the money, my opinion, as a non-financial advisor, I don't advise anyone. This is me, what I would do if I could. I don't have enough money for real estate, but that's where I would park my money. There's no doubt, real estate is great. It has, I guess, over the last 100 years, farmland has outpaced the S&P by a long shot. So then you've got gold. Okay, gold is a precious metal, been around thousands and thousands of years. Well, it's been around for as long as the Earth has, but as a unit of value, it's been around a long time. Silver, perhaps even better for some of us because, well, if we don't have a lot of money, silver is still attainable, still, at a reasonable price. And in my opinion, which a lot of people want to argue with me, and that's fine. I'm up to it. I'll put it into perspective for you. Bitcoin, ladies and gentlemen, got a great future. In my opinion, I think that if you were to invest in Bitcoin, you would see a great return. Perhaps not tomorrow, but especially when the US dollar is really shown to be what it really is, and like I said earlier, worthless. So, those are my, I guess that's my sermon, if you will, because as Joe taught me, we review things. So earlier in the show, we did a lot of stuff. Joe had a secret line, okay? RFK talks about MK Ultra, among other things. Please watch again if you want. If this is your first way through, then feel free to contact me. This is my phone number. The Bitcoin Outer Line, 737-256-9339. Website, bitcoinouter.com. And email address, well, don't want to do that. Email address, bitcoinouter.media@gmail.com. So, just got a couple more, and we'll go away till next Thursday. Actually, one more. This is it. So, those indicators I was speaking of a minute ago, hey, Otter, why? What makes you think that things are happening? Well, check this out. This is out of Zero Hedge again. Another middle class spending barometer. So they have all these things that they measure the velocity of the recession on. Because yes, we're in a recession. We'll be in a depression if things continue. And like I said, I believe they will. So another middle class spending barometer flashes red. Rolex prices near 2-year low. So luxury items like a Rolex watch. Okay, if this is my opinion, again, if you trade your time for money, meaning you're a wage slave, if you go into a place of work and depending on how long you spend there, you get paid, you are a wage slave. Yes, I consider myself one of them. And if you're not making $200, $400, $500, $600 for that hour, I don't think guys like me have any business. Let me rephrase that. In my life, I don't want a Rolex because I think that every time I looked at it and saw the time, I'd be like, wow, there's so much other stuff I can, do with this money. 5, 6, 7, 10, 30, 50, 80 grand for a watch? Come on. That's just me. Now, if I win the lottery, I'll get 4 for each arm. No big deal. But I got to trade my time, my life for money. So I'm not about to trade any lifetime for a Rolex. That's just me. But it's one of those spending barometers. So if the middle class, if the upper middle class, or even the parasite class, if they are not buying Rolexes as much as they used to, well, maybe that means something. And maybe it means that people are preparing. Hopefully it's you and me. Because, and again, this is economic ninja stuff. His desire, and you got to listen to the guy, his desire is that the middle class becomes wealthy. Why? Because then the majority, I guess the middle class isn't even a majority anymore. But suffice it to say that if you're in the middle class still, as they squeeze us out, then if we are good people, and I believe most of us are, then we can have a strong positive effect to our world, for the children of our world that a lot of them are getting abused. So all that to say that hopefully we can prepare, ladies and gents. That's what I'm here. I believe God put it on my heart to be a watchman on the wall, so to speak. So that's what I'm doing here today. I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you spending time, your life, part of your life, watching this, because it is my sincere hope that it helps you in some way or form. And I am available. Okay, yes, my service is for Bitcoin. The Bitcoin Otter was originally formatted so that I can help people buy Bitcoin safely, bring it back to their own wallet safely, and store it safely. I'm still here for you. I can do that. And I do charge for that, but it's not a lot of money, and that's not all I want to do for people. I want to inform them. I want to help them prepare. So if you email me and you want to know something, I'm not going to charge you for it. I'll just send you links and sources where I got the information so that you can make an educated, not even a guess, decision for yourself. So please help each other. Help me. If you got tips, you got stuff you want me to know about that you think might help me, please send it to me, right? We need to rely on each other, because relying on the parasites is not working. It's not working, ladies and gentlemen. So I pray that God blesses you. I pray that God blesses your family. I pray good health on you and your family. I know a lot of us are going through some rough times right now. And I'm praying for a lot of people that are going through some rough times for various different reasons. But the fact of the matter is, we can prepare. We can come out of the difficult time ahead in a better position than we're in now. And that's what I'm here for, to help, if I can. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. God bless you. God bless your families. Amen. And God bless America. Thank you.